Okay, you guys, in this video, we're going to talk about the timeline and a few helpful things that you need to know. So this guy over here, if you click here with your mouse, this makes your timeline smaller or larger. You can expand or contract your timeline. So depending on what it is that you're trying to do, if you really need to get in to like the milliseconds of your clip and make tiny little cuts, you're going to want to get in and give yourself more room. So you can use this guy here and contract or expand. Got it? Now, there is a keyboard shortcut on a Mac. It's Command plus or Command minus. So Command plus goes that way. Command minus makes it smaller, okay? So either or, use the shortcuts or use this guy, but regardless, it's very important that you know where this is because you're gonna wanna change the size of your timeline. Now, some other things to note in this area is that if you wanted to disable a track, this little film strip looking guy here, you can click on that and now you won't see those clips anymore. So if you had a whole stack of clips over here and for some reason you didn't want to look at one, maybe you wanted to see what's underneath, you can click these guys on or off to essentially hide the track, okay? And the same thing would apply to your audio. If you want to mute the audio, you've got a mute button or a solo button. So mute, we'll just mute it. Solo it is more if you had a whole bunch of audio tracks below and I just wanted to hear only this one, I could hit solo and then I'd only hear this track here. Now, one other thing that I think is worth looking at, there's something called snap to grid. What that means is that whenever you move your cursor here, and you get to the end or the start of a clip, it feels like there's a snap, like it wants to stop on that edge. But also it would want to stop here on cuts. It's like it's almost like a magnet. Like it's until you actually physically do this, you may not 100% get the feeling I'm talking about, but it wants to really stick to these cuts or beginnings and ends of clips. So that is actually this guy here, this horseshoe looking thing. It's called snapping. Okay, so if that was not turned on, when I move this guy around now, it doesn't stop on those ends or on those cuts, okay? It just hovers over. And same thing if you're moving stuff around, it doesn't want to stop there, and then it bumps the clip and things start moving, which is pretty dangerous because if you don't see it happen, you could move stuff unintentionally and then that's no good. So what you want to do is enable this snapping tool. I've always heard it as snap to grid, but snapping. And then you go like that and boom, it wants to stop right there, okay? Same thing with the cursor. It wants to stop right at those edges or the cut marks. So this is super duper handy. Now there is a shortcut as well. It's N, okay? So it's not S, but it's N. So your snapping one is N. And just so you know, if you hover over any of these things, it is showing you your keyboard shortcuts. So even stuff that isn't going to be in this beginner tutorial, just hover over it and you'll see what your keyboard shortcuts are. So super handy. Another important one that I'll add is that if you find a spot in your clip while you're on the timeline and you want to add like a little marker to remind yourself, oh, there's something here and later on I want to revisit this spot, or I want to add maybe some text over this spot or whatever, this guy here is called a marker. And so wherever your cursor is, and if you want to make a note of something, you can click this marker. Okay, and then it'll add a little thing there. That way, as you're editing, you can come back to this thing and be like, oh yeah, here, I wanted to put a little note, text over this area or whatever it may be. And then there is a keyboard shortcut. So if you hover over that, you can see M would add your marker. So let's try another one and I'll just hit M. And yep, there's my marker. Okay, so as you're editing, you can add as many of these markers as you want. Now, one other important one that I use a lot, and this saves me a ton of time. So this is, in my opinion, extremely, extremely important. If I wanted to get rid of a clip, okay, so look, it looks like I've made a cut here and I want to keep this one and I want to keep this one, but I want to get rid of this clip here. If I just hit delete, and you can hit delete and it'll get rid of it. So I hit delete and it's gone. I'm going to undo that though. But what happens is that I delete it and then I have to click here and I have to move that clip all the way over. Now that's fine and all. It's not the worst thing to do, but if you had like 30 clips or 40 clips, you won't be able to do that. You're gonna have to zoom out or zoom out, and then re-highlight everything and then move it all over, and it's gonna be a nightmare. So what solves that problem, let's undo, is something called ripple delete. So if I right click on the clip that I want to get rid of and I go up here, there's something called ripple delete. Okay, now if I click that, watch what happens on the timeline. It gets rid of the clip and then it moves everything on this side over to the other clip. So it fills in the gap and I don't have to go highlight anything. Okay, I'll do it one more time so you can see. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit ripple delete. Now watch the timeline. Boom. Okay, super duper helpful. Now there is a keyboard shortcut. I'm on a Mac, so for me it's Shift and Delete. Okay, so I hit Shift, Delete, and boom, it does my ripple delete. Okay, for the PC users, I apologize. I've never been a PC user. You're gonna have to play around and find your version of that. Maybe it's as simple as Shift Delete, but it might be something else like Option or Command. For the PC people, you know, you'll find it. For the Mac guys, it's Shift Delete. Worst case scenario is if you right click it on a PC, you may get your keyboard shortcut here like I see on mine. Okay, regardless how you do it, if you right click or you do the shortcut, ripple delete is a game changer.